only time.
If they don't want me, you know what I mean?
Or Rehoboth.
Yeah,
I mean, Bedminster.
Yeah,
But at least you got the northern town, like
Yes.
good restaurants.
Yeah, and business wasn't bad.
You know,
It
if
was
it's
just,
saying,
But West
you know,
Palm
2
in
to
the
3
winter.
hours
like,
experience,
definitely.
you can always count
West
school
was always good.
experience, and if you've got a solid
Said it
reason,
3 years,
Yeah.
3
you
Christmas.
can talk that
Yeah,
out.
I do.
Yeah, I mean,
It was
it's free
awesome.
to apply, and most of it's, if
I
not all
love
of it's
that.
online, so
Especially
there's no
when
harm,
Ben
you
was
may as
built.
well try.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Live
But
and
yeah,
balcony there.
definitely, you can kinda look at it.
Or you didn't have to go to the
as
park
college,
Yeah,
anymore.
oh,
you
that
know,
was the best thing about it.
Yeah.
but
Go,
then,
go 2
you know,
floors up,
Harvard
flip on
too,
the lights and
so
play TV.
Yeah.
may as well.
It'll
Yeah,
be
and
interesting
I mean,
mix it,
take
but
as much
if he
advice
gets,
from
if he
as
does
many
get
different
in,
people
yeah,
because you're
we'll
gonna
never
talk to
see
different people.
that's the trouble.
You might get a variety of different answers. But that's just kind of what I've seen. I've
You know,
been
then we,
in
we're just doing a lot of hardcore,
12 years now,
cost
and
effective
it's,
stuff.
I can tell.
They clamp down if you get over 8 hours.
When I graduated.
Sorry, I was talking to
So,
Icon,
yeah,
the son up
I
in
mean, I'd say it's
Wilmington,
fine,
the
and
hunter
then
Oh,
see
yeah.
what happens from there.
stuff.
But,
He told me after they had that call, what was that, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, yeah, they call the boss today.
Yeah.
He seemed my last year, so, which they, when
definitely,
you
yeah,
clamp down
definitely
like
make a
that,
real, and
trying to get
some
on.
places you wanna
Well, that'd be
see
surprising
your own
because
personal stuff.
Who? Like that's the
That's
thing,
what
like
it
who?
is. It's a big monopoly in Bristol is.
Right.
Or if you're gonna get
Unless Comcast just wants to start it in, I mean, we're expensive to run us worse than the office.
Get off these too.
Right, well, that's us too, I mean, Fox got rid of all the entertainment side.
That's true.
And then they just strictly was news and sports, that's
You
it,
know, I mean,
that's left.
here in DC, so you kind of, there's no shortage of stories,
Let's see what
just
happens. I
finding
mean,
them.
we've
So
all
if you
seen
can
this
give them a solid,
ski fall before. You gotta roll with it.
you know, a hard news piece, a solid feature to kind of show your range.
Plus, they get nervous about that.
If you have to do,
It's like,
just because you're in, you're able to hop on something that's breaking your
and
development.
something happens, breaking news happens, and then
Yeah.
steamrolls, and there's another period straight on, and then
And then
next thing you know, you're like,
We're back
please, I
into
want a
it.
day off,
Yeah.
like, cause you've had 100 hours of overtime.
And that's the
No,
thing,
I would
I'm
just
hoping
say
like
that
the
in
Olympics,
terms of
they're already
like
there.
when
The
you're
Olympics
applying
is
for
a lose
jobs
a
and
lot of
stuff,
times more than win for us.
I would say
Right.
just
They're
save
worried about
everything,
that.
and you can just
They're also
interchange
worried
it
about
all.
all this
The
campaign stuff
chances
that's going
are,
on.
you know, if it'll be nice for them to see my friends, but
Oh,
stations
yeah.
are also going to see if you
This is
can
not
do
any way,
business.
shape, or form a normal campaign.
Not the normal
Stuff
stuff,
you
yeah,
may
we
be
usually flow.
And I get it, things have changed with the internet now, am I living like college students in the 90s and kind of replacing us
Yes.
I've
on
seen
that
people
front,
do that
so I
for,
like, but there's still, if it was,
you know,
if it's
obviously,
a
once
normal
you
year
eventually
where
get a
you
job,
have
there's
12 candidates on the side,
place.
Oh, it'd be busy.
But, you know,
and
that's
there's no
something you can do. I mean,
presumptive,
I think another thing, best case
it's already
scenario,
won by Trump,
those
it's
would be
like,
what you would
everyone
include in
Yeah.
your standard montage. And then your
It was Trump and
packages will be
now,
Yeah.
2028,
personally done,
probably go back
whether
to
it's
normal.
Yeah, next election,
It'll
we'll
cut
talk about
down
that.
again because of all the day.
Yeah, well, he can't rerun it again. It'll be all fresh.
Well, but what
You're
I'm
gonna
saying
need
is
to
it'll
be
be
able
cut
to
down
own
with all
that
the
to
day.
newsroom and just say, like, I wrote this, I did this, because chances are, you're gonna start out with an election candidate, they may be more likely to
Those
want some
days are
packages
Oh,
that
yeah.
you shot from,
Which
and
Which is fine.
versus
Yeah, I mean,
repurpose from another
fine,
reporter, even if you
I'd
wrote
rather
it.
be in towards the end anyway.
So,
The primaries are fine to a point. But
that
of
would
course,
just be my,
Yeah,
I've done
my
Iowa
advice,
and the
yeah.
code twice. It's no fun.
thank
I've
God,
done
knock
it
on,
sometimes.
knock on wood, I've been like New Hampshire, so I have not.
Good luck.
I wasn't in Iowa this fast.
I did Iowa, but during the Trump mess. And
Yeah.
cold and hot.
Are we good? Everybody ready?
Yeah.
I lost somebody.
Yeah, it actually is.
Good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate your coming out this afternoon, getting a little bit of information about 4th of July on the National Mall. My name is Mike Litterst, Litterst. I am the Chief of Communications for the National Mall, joined today by Sergeant Tom Twiname, Public Information Officer for the United States Park Police. I'll give a little bit of information, a little overview of the events for the day, how we ask for people to prepare. Sergeant Twiname will talk a little bit about security for the day, road closures, things people can expect, and then we'll be happy to take any questions. But on behalf of the National Park Service and the U.S. Park Police, we are thrilled to once again be hosting the National Independence Day celebration on the National Mall. Wide variety of events throughout the day. Folks that have come down for years going to find some things that are fairly similar. We start the day off with the National Independence Day Parade. That kicks off at 11:45 on 7th and Constitution. Goes down Constitution to 17th Street. The last elements of the parade should reach the end of the parade route by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. National Park Service will once again have our Sylvan Theater family activity area at the Sylvan Theater on the southeast grounds of the Washington Monument. Family activities this year geared around spies in the American Revolution, scavenger hunt for families ages 10 or so and up, opportunity to earn an Independence Day Junior Ranger badge. Those events take place all afternoon, starting at 1 o'clock and going until 8 p.m. Park Service, once again, is a co-sponsor of the Capitol 4th concert on the west lawn of the Capitol. Starts again at 8 o'clock this year, goes right up until 9:30, incorporates the fireworks at the end of that. Grounds to the Capitol open at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hosted this year by Alfonso Ribeiro and joined by including Smokey Robinson, Fantasia, National Symphony Orchestra, and many, many more. And then, of course, what everyone waits for all day long is the fireworks display. Starts this year at 9:09:30, a very specific timing so that we can coordinate for the Capitol 4th broadcast. A 17.5-minute show produced once again this year by Garden State Fireworks, who have produced, I believe this is their 10th year in a row of producing the show. For folks that are coming down, they will find the setup and the footprint very similar to previous years. There will be a secure area from 14th Street to Lincoln Memorial. That area will open at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The area from 14th Street east to the Capitol, that is open for anyone who wants to come out. There is no bag check, and that is not a secure area. As always, we encourage folks that are coming down, make use of public transportation. Parking and traffic are difficult on the best of days. With the road closures in place, with the security box, it will be almost impossible to get close to the mall. Make use of Metro. Metro is offering free rides after 5 p.m. And maybe suggest that look for stops other than Smithsonian National Mall that may be a little bit less crowded, have a little bit more of a walk, but have fewer people there. So L'Enfant Plaza, Federal Triangle, if you're coming down from towards the Lincoln Memorial area, Foggy Bottom, George Washington University. We are expecting high heat on Thursday. I think the forecast right now is high of about 95. By the middle of the afternoon, heat index around 100. So we want to make sure everybody who comes down prepares for the heat. Hydrate all day long. Start taking that water in before you get here. Bring water with you. Make sure that you're drinking water throughout the day. Apply sunscreen, coverings, use shade when you can, everything to get yourself out of the heat. Smithsonian museums are open in the afternoon. Take advantage of their free air conditioning in the heat of the day before you come out and grab that spot for the fireworks. And for visitors who are coming with small kids, we encourage take a photograph of them before you leave that day. So in the event you get separated, we do have a family reunification area that the Park Police is operating, but you'll have a photograph of what they're wearing that day and make it easier to find. And I'll let Sergeant Twiname talk a little bit about security for the day.
My name is Tom Twiname. I'm the Public Information Officer for the United States Park Police. As with most special events that the Park Police work in this area, there are tremendous operational planning that goes into it, and we really thank all the U.S. Park Police officers, our federal, local, and state partners that will be helping support us through this operation. But it is important that visitors that are going to come down here understand we do hope that they will be active in helping us ensure the success of this event. And that really starts with planning ahead. The National Park Service has a phenomenal website that has all of the information that you can either think to need or want to need related to the event, which is www.nps.gov/FOJU. On there, you can find all the road closures that will be in effect. You can find all the items that will be prohibited within the secure area. You can see a schedule of events and things like that. So that planning ahead of time really helps everyone have a very successful event. As far as road closures are going to be expected to begin at about 4 o'clock on July 4th, and they're going to be done in sort of a rolling fashion as the event sort of continues to finalize setup before the start of the program. It's going to be most of the major roads that are going to be around the National Mall and Memorial Parks, and it's going to include Memorial Bridge and Arlington Memorial Circle, Constitution Avenue, Independence Avenue, and most of East and West Potomac Parks. Those road closures will start at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and they'll remain in effect until after the fireworks conclude and crowds begin to go home. As Mike was saying too, it's very important to plan ahead if you're coming down with a group, children, friends, family. Have ideas about where you would stage if you guys got separated, or how you would find each other in the event that you get separated from the crowd. Having each other's phone numbers, understanding that cell phone batteries get drained fairly quickly in events like this and stuff, so having some numbers either written down or memorized also helps us out when it's time to sort of get people back together that get separated during this event. Going through any of the access points, they're going to be located along Constitution Avenue, Independence Avenue, and over by the Jefferson Memorial. There are items that will be prohibited to go through those access points. Weapons of any kind are not allowed, as well as fireworks of any kind. Another big one is drones. The entire area is a no drone zone. Drones can't be flown in this area, and they will not be allowed to be brought in through any of the access points. Alcohol is also going to be prohibited, and large coolers. Smaller coolers are allowed, as well as small umbrellas for either rain or shade. Those are also going to be allowed through the access points. Other than that, our team will be out there. There'll be U.S. Park Police officers, as well as officers from several other agencies. We ask if ever you see something, you say something. You can find an officer either on foot, in a vehicle, or always call 911. We will again be operating a text message service for this event that you can opt in for. If you text July 4 DC to 888-777, you can receive updates throughout the event, or information that, if it's necessary to have, that can also be received through that text messaging feature. Thank you.
One quick go back that I neglected to mention. One thing that people will find this year that's new is that due to the construction at the Lincoln Memorial, as we build that museum on the underside of it, the Lincoln Memorial will be closed to the public on July 4th. Currently, half of the stairs are under construction. We know the stairs draw a big crowd, and there are concerns of overcrowding and safety issues. So for that reason, the Lincoln Memorial and the stairs will be closed. Plenty of room on the plaza, on the stairs, down to the reflecting pool for people to still come and enjoy the fireworks. Any questions?
I have a question regarding boat safety for those out on the water on the 4th, and just kind of how you plan to keep the water safe, and then more broadly, you know, crime in DC has been an increasing concern. How are you specifically preparing for the possible uptick in crime, keeping tourists safe, keeping residents safe, in the context of some of the, especially gun violence we've seen?
Sure. So in regards to the waterways, those don't fall to the purview of the U.S. Park Police. I know that the D.C. Police, their harbor unit, as well as the Coast Guard, has a plan, and I would direct you to speak with them on that. As far as crime or how we're prepared, the U.S. Park Police, we are always prepared. These access points are, you know, a typical event-style security system that you would see at many other either sporting events, concerts, and things like that. And you know, we ensure those methods are used to keep everyone safe. Traditionally, this is a very great event. It's a lot of fun. We look forward to it every year, and we look forward to continue that this year as well.
So you mentioned Memorial Bridge will be closed most of the day. Will any other bridges close at any period, like during the fireworks or before or after?
So Arlington Memorial Bridge is the only bridge that's under our jurisdiction and part of our plan. I know that the DC Police also have a traffic plan in place, and they monitor the traffic on the bridges and things like that. But as specific as if a bridge will close or anything like that, I wouldn't be able to answer that for you.
Sorry, can you talk about, obviously this is a big event every year, but if you can kind of give us a glimpse on, you know, how soon do preparations start and what, if anything, is different this year versus years past as far as security?
So the sort of the old adage for a lot of people that have worked a lot of these 4th of July events is the 4th of July planning begins on July 5th. It's an annual event. We know that it's going to come, and so every year, right after the event, they get right into the planning session for the next event. We have a lot of measures that are in place when it comes to security, but to maintain a lot of the integrity of those operations, we really don't provide any of the specifics on it other than kind of what's visible as far as the uniformed presence, the access control points, and just a heightened visibility of our officers on the National Mall and Memorial Parks.
And for folks who this might be their first 4th of July on the National Mall, what can they expect when they go through an access point, say? What does that look like?
Sure. You know, obviously patience is needed. If you kind of come at a lot of times where, you know, say closer to the fireworks, the crowd is going to be a little bit bigger to get through those access points. So kind of plan your day and plan when you want to get to where you're going and give yourself extra time. But it's a very smooth process. You know, again, we've used this system for a very long time. Our goal is always visitor experience. It's to make sure that people always enjoy their day and everything in their experience while they're out here. And so they're working very hard to get people through as quickly as they can. They keep families together, and it's a very seamless process.
Is that metal detectors, bag searches? How does that work?
So that's going to kind of fall into some of the lane of the specifics that we don't provide. But you can expect security similar to any other type of a large-scale event or a concert or thing like that.
And crowd size, do you have any estimates of what you're expecting this year?
I don't. The park police, we don't really get into crowd estimates or crowd size. We really just focus on who we're working with and what we're working with and just get the event concluded.
Is that under NPS jurisdiction or?
The National Park Service takes out the permit for the event. I believe it's issued for 250,000, but you know that's a number, you know, based on an aggregate average over the years. It really depends on a number of things. The day of the week affects the crowd. If it's on a weekend, we're going to have more people. The weather affects people. You know, a day where it's 95 with 100-degree heat index, we may see fewer. But we are prepared for hundreds of thousands of people, and the park police as well is prepared for however many we get.
Mike, can you tell us anything about the fireworks show itself? Will there be anything different, anything for us? What should people look for in this spectacle?
I don't know that there's anything different than previous years. Like I said, it's the same contractor that we've had before. It's a 17.5-minute show. It is being shot off from the traditional, both sides of the reflecting pool this year. In years past, I need to confirm this with the contractor. In the years past, we've had the largest number of large shells of any show in the country. So safe to say it is among the largest, if not the largest shows in the country.
And then why, you used to rotate the vendors. Is there a reason why one company's had the contract for 10 years?
It's done as a 5-year contract, and so they've successfully bid on it for the last two rounds.
Can you talk about how you work together as far as, you know, safety for such a large-scale event like this, the different agencies?
Certainly the Park Police and the National Park Service work together on a daily basis. The Park Police is the law enforcement arm of the National Park Service here in Washington, D.C. So, you know, we work together as a matter of course for day-to-day operations, all special events. So, you know, the 4th of July, in a lot of ways, is an extension of that. As Sergeant Twinnay mentioned, of course, for an event this size, there are additional partners, additional law enforcement agencies that join in. But Park Police, because the event takes place on our property, Park Police has the lead.
When you talk about that they're allowed only small coolers but not large ones, you know, we don't have people showing up and having to be turned away, not realizing. Are there specific dimensions that you're referring to, or specifics?
So the limit was 36 quarts. Anything under 36 quarts. And if you visit the that nps.gov/FOJU, I don't remember what the dimensions of the 36 quart cooler work out to, but it gives you by like a height, by width, by length, size.
A lot of tourists are coming into DC, and state laws on fireworks vary by state. Obviously, in the DC area, they're restricted. What is your message to people who, like, you know, you see the small pops of fireworks all over the city every year, even though they're not allowed? What's your message to people who think, oh, you know, it's not a big deal, I can just, you know, get away with it, or it'll be safe, or like, what message do you have to people who might be considering using their own little fireworks?
So I think throughout this week, I've seen a lot of local fire departments through the area talk on fireworks safety and things like that. And I think they've really spotlighted what the dangers are of them, even in the smallest capacity. The only thing that I can really speak to is that even outside of July 4th, fireworks are prohibited on National Park Service property. There's several reasons for that, right? The dangers of them, whether it be for any type of fire risk or anything like that, as well as, you know, one of our missions is also to preserve, besides life as property, is also resource management, and the fireworks do have an impact on both natural resources, whether they be animal or vegetation, and so that is also why they're always prohibited on National Park Service property. But I think the biggest message that most of the fire departments have pushed is that they're dangerous.
And when do you start setting up the access points if we were to go to, to film the areas? Is that something you set up that morning, or?
It's kind of a staged process, but the finalization of everything is usually done rather early that morning. Some of the access points do have, they have to be tied to a road closure, so they can't get put in place until after the roads are closed. But I would say by mid-morning, they're all set up and final. And then
did you say there's a map online?
there is. So on that website, nps.gov/FOJU, they'll have area maps. They'll show you where they are and things like that. But most of the access points are either on Constitution Avenue west of 15th Street or Independence Avenue west of 15th Street, and there's one down by the Jefferson Memorial.
And as far as, safety and security, which obviously is always top of mind, but especially for such a large-scale event like this, can you just kind of talk, obviously, I know you can't go into details, but just overarching on just protocols, there haven't been any threats that you're aware of? Is it monitoring social media? Is it working with different intel? If you can kind of talk broadly.
Yeah, so I mean, we have, just like any other law enforcement agency, we have an intelligence branch. They work with our partners. They analyze basically everything on a daily basis for safety and security and things like that. And a lot of our operational planning comes from what they have to give. And that's kind of where that puts us at for any sort of large-scale event.
So going off of that, are there any causes for concern this year?
None that they have publicly known right now, no.
You mentioned earlier about the need for public transportation for the many people who will be coming in. Just for clarification, how long will the metro stations be open for visitors or those who live in the area to get back home safely?
I would direct that question to Metro, but I believe there is not a hard closure for they'll monitor and stations will close as they empty out, but double check Metro on that.
And are you able to just talk about the increased security measures that people can expect on the metro stations, or should I refer to?
Yeah, we can't talk to Metro Security.
If
Mike,
there are weather
can you talk about why, this, we've been to this rodeo many times over the years. This is the first time I can remember not having Metro and MPD at this press conference, and those two agencies not having a 4th of July advanced press conference. Were they invited to this? Is there a reason why we're not getting half the questions we've asked? You guys have. I understand why.
Park Service and Park Police have done this together for the 10 years I've been here. We've not included MPD or Metro. If they've had a separate one, check with them. But this has always just been Park Police and Park Service.
If there are concerns with, in terms of weather, because I spoke with you about this yesterday, and you were saying that people would be directed to go to some of the government buildings or the Smithsonian, is the Park Police and security forces going to be making sure people are directed to the right places and getting out, so there's not this panic of people running and trying to get somewhere? Because if it's thunder or lightning, it's going to immediately affect everybody.
Yep, so anytime there's any large event, we always have a plan in place on whatever the need would be to get to a place of safety. And those things are all evaluated at the lowest level of whatever sort of safety concern there is related to weather. We try to just clear the area as quickly as possible first. In the event that that's not possible and we need to get people to safety, there is a plan in place where officers will then direct people to the places that are going to be the safest for them to ride out whatever the weather concern is. Until then, it's then safe to clear the area. So yeah, there's quite a large plan in place for that.
And again, would encourage people to sign up for the text notification system, which will get them that immediate alert if there is an evacuation in place.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
appreciate you coming, thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, and then Sergeant, can we get the spelling
Sure.
of your last name and your title, and I think I missed that.
Is everybody ready?
You can step in front of the mics. Thanks.
It's Thomas Twiname, Twiname. I'm a sergeant with the United States Park Police, and I'm the public information officer. Sounds good to me.
That's the family where we started to set up the shelves and the tubes and that stuff, or are they not?
Oh yeah, no, they should be finishing up today.
All good, gents?
They're